Live from AZTV's Phoenix location in the London Center, it's the Pat McMahon Show.
Then a fellow named Jeffrey has written a very, very interesting book. And I think if there's anybody at all that has experienced alcoholism in their lives, if you have, I think you're going to want to listen to Jeffrey, because he not only labels himself a gentleman drunk, but he also tells you how it is that you don't have to be one anymore. Interesting premise, and a very, very interesting guy. Now, what happens if your illness itself may not be covered by certain insurance plans? Like, for example, if your illness involves dependency, what if you're an alcoholic? Well, there are people who take care of those folks too, maybe you folks. And we're going to be talking to one of the people who lived that life in just a moment. A lot of times anymore in show business, if you have one name, it means that you're either a star or extraordinarily pompous. Well, sometimes if you just use one name, it's because of the fact that you go to AA meetings and you say, "Hi, I'm Jeffrey, and I'm an alcoholic." This is the book. That's the name. Here's the guy, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, thank you very much. First of all, thank you for, I think, an extremely informative book. And I just found out that you also have the audio CD for the folks who just don't want to take the time to read.
Or can't read.
Jeffrey, your story in digest form.
I basically didn't know I was an alcoholic. Everyone thought I was funny. I used to run the bars at entertainment events. I made money on Wall Street. Traveled all over the world.
Started drinking when?
12. Kept it pretty quiet. I know it was 12 because I was bar mitzvahed at 13, and I broke into my father's liquor cabinet.
And through your teen years, having read the book, your mom and dad wondered who was getting into the booze.
Actually, I was pretty clever. I always drank stuff that was white, and I basically doctored it down with water. So no one knew.
And you continued to be clever, didn't you?
Well, yeah, and the maids kept getting fired because they were being blamed, and I didn't care.
But you continued to be clever as an adult.
I think so, and that I was able to hide it from everybody, including my, ex-wife and my family, my children, my relatives, my business colleagues, vendors, suppliers. They just thought I was a pretty funny guy.
What did you drink?
Oh, my favorite was Scotch, single malt.
And that could get to be pretty expensive as a habit.
Yeah, but I made the money. I was very good at what I did, and I was negotiating seven-figure contracts and did work with the major corporations. So money was never an issue.
Did you drink during the workday?
No. I was always only after 5 o'clock. Never drank in the morning, never drank during the day. It was always the 5 o'clock, and I would dream about it as the day would go on.
Isn't that interesting? Almost every alcoholic that I know had some kind of standard. Sometimes it's that. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's a specific number of drinks that you could have at meals.
Right.
And then whatever you want after dinner. Mm-hmm. But you could have 2 glasses of wine at lunch, 2 glasses of wine at dinner, and they were very, very disciplined.
Absolutely, you have to be, because you got to be able to continue to work to make the money to support the habit. I mean, you have no choice. Now, some people who I call the lower echelon alcoholics will spend all their money and basically go broke, and I grew up in a wealthy family, and I didn't want to lose that.
When did you find out, however, that it was enough of a problem that you could stand up in front of a group and say, "I'm an alcoholic"?
Well, I almost died in New York. I'm also an author of other books. I write textbooks. So I was in New York on a promotional tour, and I went out to celebrate, and everybody was buying me drinks, including the PR firm, and we're having a lot of fun. And what happened is I passed out on 3rd Avenue in New York, and I was robbed, and they took all my ID. It was winter, so they took my winter coat. I had thrown up all over myself, and they took me to the nearest hospital, which was St. Luke's. And not that I was pronounced dead, but I wasn't breathing. And they basically put me on life support. And when I woke up, I didn't know who I was and couldn't remember my name.
That should get your attention.
Well, it's called alcohol poisoning. You just don't think about it because everybody jokes about it. You know, they say they were either an alcoholic, they are an alcoholic. People joke about it, but it's a serious illness,
But
and I take it seriously.
You still needed help, though.
Absolutely. I just didn't know it was alcohol. I thought it was stress, fatigue. I was lecturing in Germany. I was lecturing in Sri Lanka. I was traveling all over the world, had first-class lifestyle, so I didn't really connect it to alcohol.
Are you afraid, though, that people hearing this, much like other dependency drugs, are going to say, particularly young people, are going to say, well, wait a minute, he had a fabulous life, and I can do that, but not quite as much. I could get away with that, and look how successful he was, in spite of the fact that he was drinking every day.
Mm-hmm.
Are you concerned that that will be the message that some people get?
No, not at all. People will do what they want. I don't sit here and promote my organization, which I don't have. I don't promote AA. I just happen to choose AA, but I've been to moderation management, rational recovery. I'm Jewish, so there's a program specifically for Jews. There's a program specifically for pilots. There's a program for police officers. There's 160 ways to recover. I don't promote any one way. If people want to go out there and do what they want, it's their life.
But you talk about AA in here.
I do, because that's the program that I happen to choose.
Why did it work for you?
Well, I like the spirituality of the program. I like the idea that no human being can solve my problem. No drug, no doctor. If I could have solved it, I would have. So I like the program for its spirituality. And in AA, you basically define God the way you want. So I have my own predefined version of God. And I like that.
So it doesn't have to be a Christian God, Jewish God, Hindu God.
Correct. Could be anything you want. Some people
Jeffrey's
are atheists, too. Could be my God. And there are some people in the program that don't believe in God, and that by definition is a God that there is no God. It's almost a nihilistic concept.
Well, there are people who might find that awfully surprising, too, because of the fact that they consider AA to be a spiritually based organization.
Mm-hmm.
You're a friend of Bill.
Yes, I am.
And that's just another way of saying I went to AA and it was successful for me, right?
That's correct.
Bill was the founder.
There was actually two co-founders, Bill W., which was Bill Wilson, he was a stockbroker, and Dr. Bob, who was a proctologist in Ohio. So the two of them started it.
Yeah, great film.
1935, yeah, it's a great film with, I can't remember the guy's name. I love you with the trivia, but I can't remember the guy. Bill something or whatever. I'm terrible when you catch me off guard.
And you know what? You didn't catch me off guard. I just can't remember.
Yeah.
The fact that AA, however, is an answer is important to know, because I've seen people in business meetings get up because they got a phone call from somebody who needed them.
Mm-hmm.
They were counselors. Are you?
Well,
Do you
no.
help people?
No, I'm a businessman.
So you don't have any obligation?
Not at all. I'm a sponsor, and I sponsor people. But my whole goal, even with this book, was to really document my life and just to share it with people. I don't make any money on the book. I have a real career, which I don't disclose. That's why I keep my anonymity. And I just love doing this because it allows me to give back, which is called 12-stepping, to help others without any benefit to myself. There's no profit motive whatsoever.
Do you think that people out there right now could have a drink every day or a couple of drinks every day, or even get a little buzz on without being an alcoholic?
Oh, absolutely. It's one of those few diseases we don't know anything about.
But you know it's a disease.
I believe it is.
Genetic?
Some people believe it is genetic, but there's no alcoholism in my family.
But what do you believe?
I don't believe it's genetic. I truly believe that God just randomly gives out different bodies to people, and I just happen to have a body with a magic sponge that allowed me to absorb alcohol in uncanny quantities for so many years, and the sponge ran out. And therefore, my body couldn't process alcohol. So if you give me just a little tiny alcohol in my body, I'll be off to the races.
So
and that's
you know
what my
that
body is.
It would be dangerous for you to have a glass of wine at lunch.
Why even test it? What am I going to accomplish?
Where do you get the book?
Many different ways. Just go into Google or Yahoo and just type in A Gentleman Drunk, and it'll tell you various sites. There's a website called thegentlemandrunk.com. And thank God it's now on Amazon, and you can go into Amazon and just type in that or type in the word Jeffrey, and you'll find me.
How long have you been sober?
3 years, April 15th.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Nice to have you with us. We're going to be talking more with another group of people about this subject. They got in touch with us, and we'll find out about another way of approaching that serious problem in people's lives. Remember, he did say ex-wife. That happens so often to people. Ex-families, ex-wives, ex-businesses sometimes. Looks like he got back in the saddle again, and he's doing okay. Name is Jeffrey. Her name is Janice. She does a lot of things for a lot of people, and you don't even know that she's benefited you as a result of her support of the arts. Back in just a moment. You'll meet Miss Montana. She never played football.